Hello, welcome to another episode of Out of Stand Nation. Got myself, Aura, and Nick, your usual knuckleheads. So.
Great.
Now, I really want to get into this first piece of this episode. So, One We is a subunit of ONEUS, and they did a collab with Hwasa from Mamamoo. Let's go ahead and take it away, Nick.
I mean,
by the way, the title was Q.
The title is Q.
It's awkward. Yeah.
I will say this is not what I expected.
Not at all.
Especially coming from, obviously coming from ONEUS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was not expecting this at all.
This was a lot more trappy than I really expected it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know the members, so I don't know if it's like primarily rappers or anything. But yeah, when I heard that first beat, I'm like, this kind of sounds like a trap beat. And then they started like going, and I was like, this is a trap song. And then I realized, I was like, I should have expected this. Hwasa is on this track.
Well, and they also incorporated a lot of what's it called, like some funk elements into it as well. Mm-hmm. So as far as the instrumentation, so like funk, trap, hip hop, mashup fusion here.
Yeah,
like some of that the hip hop delivery, vocals and whatnot. It was just like, at first I didn't know what to make of it. Like I didn't know if I liked it or not. And it wasn't until like the second, third, fourth, fifth listen, I'm like, actually, I think it's all right. So
yeah, I also found it really interesting. At first, I found it really interesting that they decided to use the heavy auto tune.
Yes. Yes.
I found it really interesting, but as the song went on, it made a lot more sense. They're fusing genres that typically don't go together.
Okay. Hip hop and funk, sure, but then like trap.
Trap, hip hop fuses fine.
Yeah.
But the funk elements, if they just left it to an exposed vocal, I feel like the funk elements would have been brought out a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of would have thrown a little bit of the balance off. I feel like they went with an overpowering hip-hop focus.
Yes.
And that kind of let the funk just idle in the back, kind of be a supporting character in the song.
Absolutely. Because normally for hip-hop, it's the vocal element is just is overpowering. So usually historically, I'd say, I don't know about now because I don't pay attention to West music very much, but historically, when they would have funk elements, they would leave it in the back. So
okay. I will say that it did. I'm in a similar position as Jihoon. It took me a couple of listens to be on board with it. I'm not gonna say I like it, but I'm also not going to say I don't dislike it. It's one of those songs that I can listen to on the side. Like, if it pops up, I'm not gonna skip it, but I'm not going to proactively go listen to it. Then again, I'm also not as familiar with ONEUS as some other people may be. And I'm definitely not, if I'm not familiar with ONEUS as other people, I am definitely not as familiar with this subunit.
Now, one thing that was really getting me to was the video itself, like the visuals being presented to us. There was, I don't know, I really liked it. A lot of it, just the way they were kind of just jamming out, right?
Yeah.
And then Hwasa's entrance.
Right. Hwasa's I loved how Hwasa entered, how they just started on her feet and it kind of just led up into her. I like that. But to be honest, the rest of the music video, and I'm going to say this for basically most of the music videos that were released this week, I'm not impressed.
I mean, it's not like, it's all it is just showing them performing.
Yeah.
So there's nothing.
Yeah.
Avant-garde going on.
Exactly.
It's just.
There wasn't much to show, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying there's not much to show, and it fits just fine, but there's also not much to say about it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
So One thing that I did find interesting, about the MV is the change in light intensity.
Yeah.
Just almost at will. Because like they will go from really bright scenes to really dark scenes, just with no real transition. I did find that really interesting, and most of it, from what I see, is a contrast between, Wunmi and Hwasa.
Yes, I was about to bring that up, though.
Yeah.
That's
yeah, and I think it also provides a nice contrast because this song, in and of itself, this song is a vibe. It has a set vibe from the start, and it continues that set vibe all the way through the song. For some people, that's great. For some people, they like a little more variety in their music. And so I think this song for a lot of people is going to be relatively hit or miss.
Yeah.
For people that like a lot of variety in their music, and and don't, there's no real good way to put this, but don't value the nuances as much. They're not gonna really like this song. It's gonna be relatively okay. It's just gonna be another song.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the people that really like the nuances and how music is mixed together and they're gonna like this song. And so I think watching the video adds a different layer to this song.
Yeah.
Because the video will provide that contrast.
Yeah.
Mike,
especially with their.
I was just gonna ask, is there? Have you guys heard of any significance of the letter Q being in the title? Because I don't know if there's any significance. Maybe it translates to something different in Korean or something like that, or if they just went, oh, I like that letter, and just picked Q.
No, I mean, I didn't go too deep into the lyrics myself.
Okay.
I found myself looking at every other aspect with the music itself and the video.
Right. And the reason why I'm asking is because if there is a significance to the title, it might clear things up, especially since, again, I don't know what the lyrics are. I don't understand Korean. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't understand. And for me, using titles such as Q might give some significance to what everything is, and might help out, and then knowing what the lyrics are definitely would help out in connecting the dots. But for me, because I don't understand Korean and I don't know the significance of Q, it does feel like a little bit of a mess to me.
Yeah, I think they probably already. I mean, especially with Hwasa being involved, it's probably already what's it called? English subtitles available for it.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Currently, there are not.
Oh wow, that's surprising. So, yeah, I forgot where I was going to go now.
Oops,
so,
my bad.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, I think in general, I mean, so the English title is Q. The actual title kind of just translates to I don't know. Literally. But I think inside, so the actual title is very, it kind of changes its meant meaning inside of context.
Okay.
So it probably relates a lot more to the song. Had I had more time, I would have actually listened to the lyrics and broke it down a bit. But,
right.
So I'm sure it means a lot more to the actual song.
I mean, since you said I don't know, I think that gives some significance to Q, because Q can represent question, or similar in the Q&A, but without the A. Mm-hmm. So it could be how. Again, this is all speculation. I don't know what it is, but it could, that if it is question or I don't know, it that contrast between Hwasa and the 1S members or 1E members. I don't know what you guys want to choose, but either way, it's trying to figure out something out and trying to decide on something, and that having that contrast shows the two different choices or possible multiple choices, and in that context, that puts more things in perspective, and which also gives me a little bit more appreciation for the song if that is what it is meaning.
Especially when you talk about like with the way the just like how Nick had talked about with the autotune for the vocals, because the vocals are in that way very suppressed, or become very suppressed because of the autotune kind of hollowing it out. Right. So with that, just like Nick said, it's like a really vibe type of song. The musical accompaniment does get to be repetitive. Yeah. But where the where the song kind of comes alive is the interaction with their vocals, because the contrast between Hwasa's vocals and the 1V members, they do provide that variety, and especially and even within their portions of their song too, because when I think with Hwasa's second part, and then they come into the guitar kind of like that light solo. Mm-hmm. It's like where that song really had an amazing vibe going on there. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, like that's the part of the song where I really, because like they kind of had like the slow build up where okay, I'm not really sure I'm getting engaged here, but then as like the funk elements started coming in, they started pulling me on. So it was kind of like it started with like a light tug, and it started pulling me hard right around that. You point.
See, whenever it comes to funk, I'm just going to go, oh, Jihoon's gonna. Even if it comes later, Jihoon's gonna start loving it. If it comes at like the 2-minute mark, if Jihoon's been like on the edge for a good minute or two, the moment funk comes in, he'll be like, "Oh, I love this song."
Not necessarily, because there was other songs where even with like funk elements, like it just fell apart. So funk is not necessarily a cheat code to get me in. If anything, that could be it could be a reason to pull me out. So, alright. But for 1V, I do give it a recommend. Yeah. Not my favorite, but I do like it. Alright. Yeah, I have no problem with recommending it. So.
Anything else anybody wants to add?
Yeah, because I think it's time to move on to the next one for Nick. So.
Yeah. So, the next one is. It's gonna be amazing. The next one is Bandage with their song Invisibles. This was released on April 3rd. Currently has about 26,000 views as of the day after. Bandage is obviously they're a band, but their name comes from actually band plus windage. Okay. And they are under Playem Entertainment, which has other notable groups such as like Victon, A-Pink, Hugak, people like that.
Nice. This is a debut, ain't it?
Yes, they are actually a survival show group.
Oh, okay. What survival show?
So Bandage originally came from survival show Superband.
Never heard of it, but I'm gonna watch it.
It's a JTBC survival show.
I have heard of it. Yeah. I didn't watch it though.
And one of the members, Hyungbin, was also part of Play M Boys. Okay. And was also part of Under 19, Korea's Got Talent, and Star King. Okay. So he's been all over the place. All right. They also have vocalists that have sung OSTs for things like Itaewon Class, stuff like that.
Nice.
So the members have already been out kind of doing their own thing, some of them. So that is kind of a little bit of the background on where they're
from. Right. Yeah, because honestly, I had never heard of them until you showed it to us. So I was like, okay, Bandage. I'll give it a listen too.
Yeah, so I didn't watch Superband. I had heard of it because, Nugu. So I had heard of Superband, and then when I saw that Bandage was coming out of Superband, I don't believe they won Superband, but they definitely caught my attention.
Okay.
And my Twitter feed's attention. So
Yeah, I do remember seeing that all over Twitter. So.
Yeah, Twitter really liked that. Apparently it was done really well.
Wow. I am probably the only one who does not know like anything tied to these guys other than when Nick posted these guys on our Discord. Which, by the way, follow our Discord, join it.
Definitely do that.
Yeah. So, the song itself.
Can I just say how much tension was built in this song? That didn't get released.
Yeah. They did a good job with maintaining that, and the song is kind of reminiscent of like mid 90s, late 90s alternative rock.
I love that. I honestly love that part of how it is.
The thing that really kept me like interested in this song that I found myself doing was how much. So the singer's vocals, right? The way his voice just naturally is, just kept adding weight to this song, and just kept weighing down the song, which is exactly what they wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And every time they would, it's hard to say, but every time they would go into the chorus, every time they'd drop, for lack of a better term, it would only relieve just a little bit of tension that the chorus would just end up putting back on. And so it kept weighing down the song. I have never heard a song with that much vocal tension in it. Like, he didn't put tension in his voice to add it, which is usually how you do it. He just let his voice do it for him.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
that is insane.
It's like a lot of those traits can be found in a lot of those like 90s like rock groups. There's, I can't name off the top of my head, but as I was listening to it, I was like, this, I feel like I've seen this before, but it didn't feel like overdone or old or anything like that. Yeah. The opening vocals, I was honestly actually put off because I normally don't like that style of vocals, especially from alt rock. But at the points in the chorus where he picks it up, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And just like you said, right, with maintaining that tension in the song, like, there's no better way of really delivering those vocals for what they're trying to do with the song.
The only way to do that would be almost not have any drop,
right,
and let your voice kind of add more tension, add more inflection inside of your voice to add that tension. Instead, what they decided to do, I think, was the far better play here.
Yeah,
because you almost wanted it to hard drop, to go into like a full-on rock song,
Yeah,
but they just weren't letting it happen.
With those opening vocals, it reminded me of what's that old artist? Beck, I think it was. There was some alt rock artist that I just really don't like his music. So it almost kind of triggered that negative feeling for me, and so that was like the only issue I really had with the song. But other than that, like, for anyone else who's not familiar with Beck, I think that's actually good for you. Like, you're not that you unless you like Beck, then I think you'll like the song even more. But within the context of the song by itself and this group, I think it all works well. The instrumentation. Let's talk about instrumentation.
Oh man,
it's really subtle, but it's not underwhelming.
It is extremely subtle, and the synthesizers that they decided to use is also an amazing choice.
I feel like I missed something because I looked away for like 2 seconds.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. I hate you guys.
So I feel like the instrumentation is also, while it's super subtle, it's also like a perfect choice.
Yes.
Because if you had a really hard instrumentation, that takes a lot of tension away from the song. You're gonna hear us refer a lot to tension here, and that's because tension is a very hard thing to manage.
Okay, I will say this. They will be talking more about tension. I don't understand what tension is, okay? So this entire time you guys have been talking about vocal tension, instrument tension. I don't understand that, okay?
Okay. Just think about it like this then. Think of it as like you're like that kind of like that thin line of like you're engaged, but then you're about to disengage, but then you're like about to get like you don't know where you're gonna go. Like it could be like you're interested or not interested, or you're a little bit happy but you're a little bit depressed, or it's kind of like that fine line, that fine feeling.
Okay, so Jihoon's explanation has made me more confused, guys. Just saying.
Okay.
So I will be confused for this.
For in layman's terms, it's essentially you know how you wring out a towel. Imagine wringing out that towel and just continually wringing it. Okay. Eventually, the towel will collapse in on itself, right? Because you've wrung it too much, and now it just wants to collapse. The song wants to do that, but it's like holding it taut because it won't.
Okay.
Yeah, like whatever that feeling was. Like what did you feel when you were watching it?
Chill. I like that. I was just vibing.
No.
It was a vibe. I'm not gonna lie.
And that comes from that tension.
Okay.
Yeah, it creates the mood of the song.
Okay, now I get it. Okay. If you go, it creates the mood. I get it.
Fair enough. So, with that, but the song, if they did even one wrong move in this song, it'd be a total failure.
Yeah, I can see that.
But they did everything right, and that's what makes the song so good. That's why the song is so underrated, and I'm upset. Because, like, maintaining tension inside of music is very difficult. Mm-hmm. Because when you go to the chorus, it opens everything up. You open up your soundstage, you open up your dynamic range, and you just go. Mm-hmm. A great group that opens up their dynamic range and stuff inside of their choruses to relieve that tension is Dreamcatcher.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, dynamic range is your it's basically talking about the point from where it's the quietest to loudest. So.
Okay.
Yep.
See, now I'm getting stuff. I actually understand.
Perfect. Yeah. So, like, a great group, like basically the textbook group for opening up that dynamic range inside of the chorus is Dreamcatcher, because they do that every time in every chorus for every song.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing. It's just how they are as a group. But they don't do that here.
And dynamic,
keep it limited.
Yeah, it was for dynamic range too. It's also really great for kind of adding excitement to the song, right? Because like sometimes you have that tension to kind of build up to, like, it builds up, and then it goes quiet all of a sudden, and it picks up again to get really loud. That's one way that dynamic range can help kind of add excitement.
Especially, you'll hear a lot of that with ad libs as well.
Yes.
Inside of Korean pop specifically, the third chorus ad libs. So go listen to literally any Twice song. That third chorus ad libs that they do is opening up that dynamic range.
And ad libs,
because they're getting massively louder.
Ad libs would be stuff like, when they go, yeah, or come in with a quick phrase.
Yeah. It's not actual lyrics in the song. It's added vocals on top. It's always the high note. Yeah. It's all that.
It's almost like another sound effect, basically.
Okay.
That gets thrown in, but vocally.
Okay.
So, but yeah, honestly, I could talk 1,000 years about this song,
and it'll keep on going over my head until they explain everything to me.
Yeah.
But another thing I found really interesting was their choice of location here for the MV. The song is very compact, right? It's very tight and closed. You notice they're not like in a field somewhere.
Yeah. Because of the kind of the subtlety of the instrumentation, and with the way his vocals are delivered, it would definitely give a different feel if you're shooting in the open out in the open field.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
So if they were trying to convey like that loneliness of being out in this vast open area, sure. I mean, that could work. I mean, if you're trying to make it feel like you're alone in the whole wide world, like that's where this type of instrumentation vocals would go in, but it wouldn't tie into the lyrics. On the other hand, with it being shot inside of a house,
I mean,
again, the compactness.
I mean, it's
changes the whole context.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a way of seclusion, being invisible. Because I'm also going to take the title of the song into context here. It's basically being invisible from the world. You know, the way that they use everything is they're doing their thing, but they're still invisible from the world. It's basically being cut off.
Which the title is great because it's a double entendre. Because, like you said, it's being invisible from the world and all that, but actually inside of the music, you know, the lyrics portray to a relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which is going to be the next part I was going to bring up. Yeah.
Yeah, it portrays to a relationship and how the person on the other side of the relationship has changed to the point where they're not the person that they met is now an invisible, you know, person, because it's not the same person anymore.
And that in itself will get to feel it kind of, you know, I mean, in that sense too, you will feel lonely.
Yeah.
You live in this, you live together, but you're not really together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and now that you say that, I realize how many shots are just of the members alone.
Right.
There's a few. I mean, they've got to shoot a few as a band. You know, you're a band for a reason. But I just realized now how many of those shots they are alone.
It's a lot.
It's a solid.
It's
number.
a lot.
And even in that scene where there's a cloth draped over a figure, right, that's on the floor, and he pulls it over and there's no one there. It really does convey that sense of loneliness within this home.
This song has so many layers on so many different levels, so it makes it so much more interesting and fascinating. But
I thought it was all well done.
Yeah, it was really well
put together,
extremely,
especially for a debut. Like this is legit.
Yeah.
This is a legit. Go check it out if you haven't. Check them out. Go give them a listen. Heck, put it in the top 10 of your list if you wanted to. I don't care.
Well, maybe Nick will. So. All right, so are you guys ready to move it on?
Yeah.
I think so.
All right, so we got a double feature from Jijin Suk. So we'll start with Just. Was that what you guys want to start with?
Oh, wait. Oh, so we're going to skip this one for now.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm sorry. I skipped over.
Yeah.
I skipped over
Skipping one
HND.
here.
HND with Unfamiliar.
We have a list, and HND was the third on the list, but Jihoon was trying to skip them.
Well, I thought
He just really wants to get to Jijin Suk, okay?
Well, HND is really good too. So I actually really like this one a lot.
And especially since this one is probably near and dear to our hearts.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
So, Aura, take it away.
H&D! X1! Yay! Lee Hangul.
Rip X1.
Yeah. Hangul and Dohyun from X1. They are now in a unit together called H&D. And they have just released their music video Unfamiliar. And I'm kind of speechless. I really like this.
All right,
it's a good song.
Yeah. So Nick, let's go over the musical aspects, because like the double piano, right? And their vocals.
So first off,
so Nick is going to start with the bad news first, huh?
I'm gonna start off with my only gripe with this song. whenever you have two pianos and you are even shooting the video, right? You want to make it look like they're playing, you know, that whole thing, because they're playing the actual notes. You know, it's all legit. You don't put the pianos touching. You don't do that.
Yeah, the actual resonance will interfere with each other.
You'll cause counter resonance because one piano is playing into the other.
Yeah, and
it's just really bad, and it's also not like long term. Obviously, this isn't long term, but long term can actually have problems with the piano.
Yeah, and in terms of the actual,
it goes out of tune.
In terms of the actual music too, like it actually will destroy the sound of the notes.
Yeah,
like, you're not gonna get a good sound.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah, you will never get a solid sound because the body of the piano is fundamentally twice as big now.
But it's meant for show anyway. So
visually,
I know. I'm just saying, it's my only gripe with this song. But the rest of the song is great.
So yeah, let's talk about the actual song for a bit. I absolutely loved I wasn't expecting it to just be double piano. I wasn't expecting this. I would have never expected this type of song from these two guys, from Hangyo and Do-hyun.
Yeah.
Right? But Do-hyun's like sing rap was phenomenal. Absolutely, like
it was very well done.
We were very well familiar with his rapping ability from watching Produce, right? We got to see some of his singing ability, but here, you know, we actually get to see more of his skills. Hangyo, his smoky vocals, right, really provides a great contrast to Do-hyun's rap.
Yeah, so Do-hyun's rap is really, really clear. And his vocals are really clear. And so the fact that Hangyo adds a lot of air to his voice, and it's natural air, it's not forced.
No, that's a natural speaking voice.
So the fact that his natural singing voice has a lot of air to it makes it great. There's a few vocalists inside of K-pop right now that kind of have this kind of weird mix, and he's one of those, because it's not like a solid 50% air, 50% vocal kind of mixture, which is usually that kind of husky rap that you or that husky singing that you hear is usually that 50-50 mix. That's a pretty standard thing. But for example, he's more like 30%, because he has more of that vocal aspect, but he has enough air in his singing voice to where it still gives it that, like you said, that kind of smoky feeling.
Yeah,
where it's not full on husky, but it's there and it's present.
And at the same time, it's smooth too. Really smooth.
Smooth and pesky.
You know, that contrast between his vocals and Do-hyun's rap, it was. I loved it. Like they paired very well together.
They pair and contrast really well. I think that's kind of why they did everything the way they did it. I'm going to bring up the pianos because the compare and contrast works so well, especially with the black and white. Because visually, there wasn't much going on. Let's be honest here. There wasn't much going on. But having those two pianos, having them opposite each other, speaks so much volume. And then it's about them pursuing an unfamiliar territory. They had English lyrics, I believe, and the lyrics just say that. They're exploring unfamiliar territory. It's the two of them together, and having them having their contrast makes it so much better. The husky, from anything from the husky voice that's like super smooth, or the like singing rap, everything contrasts, but it also works in that contrast. It works in a very unfamiliar way, but very familiar way at the same time. And I feel like I may have confused everyone that that is listening to us right now.
Well, that I'm just like, okay, well, I mean, the music video was just them on a piano.
Yes.
And I mean, that's just like how one music video was just them on the instruments.
But it was how they were placed. You know, it's because like they're directly opposite of each other. That's the significance. Whereas when they were all facing one direction. The contrast is how they were facing each other. That was a significance. Like they're opposites, but they're opposites that can connect.
And that's literally all there was to the video, though.
Exactly, but that even though that was it, I'm just saying that part was significant.
Yeah, because like I mean, in the video, where I really saw for what really made the video for me was just seeing their actual expressions, as they're performing,
right?
Or performing in the video, because you can really showcase it, or it really shows all the emotions that they've experienced this past few months.
Yeah.
Like especially like you feel it in their vocal deliveries, and you feel it from the screen, from seeing their faces. So,
definitely.
Now for us, it has a greater impact because we've been mostly invested in this group, in these two especially, from last year. So there is definitely a lot more there for us, as opposed to someone who's not familiar with them.
Right.
Also, something I noticed, because I listened to the song while we talk about it. Something I noticed is in Do-hyeon's second rap, at the end of it, they use silence in perfect, they used it perfectly correct here. Because for the last 2 bars of his rap, there's no instrumentation.
Okay.
It's a break in the instrumentation. It's just him rapping.
Mm-hmm.
That is the perfect use of silence. So, silence, believe it or not, in music, silence can be used completely incorrectly.
Yeah.
And putting silence wherever you want in music does not work. I mean, it's fine, but you'll interrupt phrasing, and everything really has to align, or you have to make it align for silence to work. And that was a perfect place, because they had built tension, he was rapping, and then they dispersed all that tension with the silence. They let it just kind of fizzle out.
I mean, especially with his rapping being the anchor. So, it's just kind of like you got this one point of the song, right, and then everything else around it is basically falling off. It really does amplify his rapping at that point, I would say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think the only thing musically that I did not like is after that silence, to bring it back into the chorus, they did just the typical relatively unoriginal. Just they took a bass, and they took a high note, and then they just brought it down.
Okay.
They just slid it down, and I think there are better transitions that you could have put there. Like, you could have just went back into drums and then went back into the chorus. I don't think that was a good choice.
Yeah.
Because you brought in the drums at the same time as the piano, so it faded out it kind of made the pianos fade in, kind of muddled, almost. But other than that, I think pretty much everything was right. Fading back, bringing the music back in after silence is really difficult. Like, don't think I'm saying that they did something easy wrong. That's really difficult, because you have to give the same vibe that was already there that you just lost.
Okay.
It's very, very difficult. There are a lot of even like classical composers that cannot do it right. So the fact that they attempted it is great, and the fact that they did it relatively fine, because they kind of just used the bog standard almost to give that vibe again. It's fine. I just would have preferred a different usage, different way to bring it back in.
Yep. So
now we're moving on, or do you have more to say?
Oh no, because like as I was like running through everything in my head, like, well, it's pretty much would just be similar to what was already said. So I mean, like at that point, that's when I know, like, yeah, we're about to start talking in circles again. So unless you guys have anything else you want to add, I think it's time to move it on. All right, so now we're on to our double feature from Jijin Suk. Let's see, let's go with the first one. Just, is that what you guys want to start off with, or end it off with?
Let's do Just.
All right, so Just has a very minimalist vibe to it again. So it's something you're seeing a lot with a lot of like solo artists starting from like last year, I would say, is when we started noticing it. And towards the end of the song, I got to thinking, like, man, this kind of reminds me of BB. And
that's the vibe I got too.
Okay, so I wasn't the only one, and so
that's why I knew you would start loving this.
I literally went and searched up BB songs after watching or listening to Just, because I was like, this is BB. Like this sounds like a song BB could produce. Something that actually Aura caught for me, which is I didn't catch at the beginning, is they have a panned synth at the beginning. It pans left to right. And I thought about it. It literally, like, I thought about it for 5 minutes after Aura told me about it. I went back and listened to it, and I was like, "This is a good choice because it sets a tempo." Because when your brain listens to a pan, it thinks of each ear as the beat. So it set the beat and it set the tone quality without actually having to do a whole lot to set it. And I thought that was a really great choice, because then you could just bring in his vocals right away.
Yeah. As I was thinking about the music too, I was thinking of like almost like lo-fi, or more like slow-fi, I would call it. But then there was still so much more to it than just what you would typically hear in lo-fi.
Well, what I found when it was panning, it kind of rocked me back and forth and lulling me into the music, and then the moment his vocals came in, because it kind of lulled me into the music. I'm not even sure if I'm using the word correctly, lulled, but
that's fine.
His vocals came in so natural. It felt like it really did come in naturally. I was like, oh, when did his voice actually come in? Like, it comes in so naturally you don't even notice it, thanks to the whole panning part. And that's something I found really interesting. Now, I didn't pay much attention to the music video for this. Again, like I said earlier, this week there wasn't much going on for music videos. So for Jijin Suk's, both of his music videos, they didn't really catch my eye much. But the music, and especially Just, this was my kind of jam.
And speaking of the music video too, like, that was another reason why I was getting BB vibes, because the music video reminded me of BB's Binu, while the song itself reminded me of Restless.
Okay.
So, because, like, you know how it shows him from scene to scene, right? And it's just they're all simple scenes. Like it was very much just kind of something to fill the screen while you're listening to the music. Was really what it was. Just like how BB does a good job of kind of establishing this atmosphere around her, with both her vocals and her presence on the screen, he does it similarly, but obviously differently, right? No, go ahead.
A thing that I really found interesting is the amount of vocal control he has. So usually the vocal control he has, you'd expect from people that have been in the business 5, 6, 7 years. He has a ton of vocal control, and he knows exactly how to use his voice. He's the same age as me.
Without strain. He's doing it without any kind of strain.
Yeah. And so naturally, I was like, there's no way he just naturally has this. So he was on Under 19. And actually, but what the crazy part is he made it to the 4th eliminations. And then it had to leave the show because of health reasons.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like he had, because he is the first artist under his company.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Black Y Entertainment?
Black Y Entertainment, he's the first artist to debut under Black Y. So, you know, usually in artists like that, they don't have the vocal abilities that just normal artists have because the training simply, the infrastructure just simply isn't there in the company. So that was very smart of Black Y, is to send him to Under 19 while they work on setting up their infrastructure and getting everything set. By the time he's ready to come back and leave for health reasons and stuff like that, he then releases his single, and now this is his comeback.
Okay, so this wasn't a debut, or this wasn't a double debut.
No, because he debuted
It was not a
last
double
year.
debut. He debuted last year. This is his comeback.
Okay.
Yeah, and it gets me wondering too. Like maybe he's had a choir background because choir vocalists do have a lot of they have a combination of control and power that you develop, and especially for a long time choir vocalist. Because Oh My Girl's Hyojung, she was in the choir from like the 3rd grade all the way to like I don't know, like sometime in high school, or maybe all throughout her high school career. So because of that background, she has a lot of power and control at the same time. Because like and also because of the way choir music is sung as well, it also they're really good at projecting like their emotions into their vocals, and kind of like getting you kind of encapsulated right into their vocals, and he does this very well too.
Yeah.
So
he also makes jumps that are normally really hard for vocalists.
Yep.
Like there's, I think, quite a few just 1 octave jumps in this song, which if you're a choir vocalist, it's something that wouldn't be that difficult.
So
because the pure control that you have.
That's why I'm wondering, like maybe he has a choir background or something similar to a choir background.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if he came out and was like, yeah, my teacher was a choir teacher.
Yeah.
Like I would not be surprised.
So
I don't know what his actual musical background is, but someone has taught this I can't even call him a kid because he's the same age.
This man.
Someone has taught this guy correctly.
Yeah.
You know, he was taught by somebody very good in the business because he's so young, and normally his vocals should be relatively unstable, even as a soloist, especially coming from a company where they don't have that infrastructure. But I mean, his vocals are just so smooth that it's almost insane.
I mean, he could also be one of those prodigies because like another Oh My Girl member, Sunghi, I forgot what show she was on, but she was like 13 or 14 or whatever at the time, where she won, and she was able to display like a lot of kind of that power and control that we've been talking about. She's not as stable as like Hyojung is, but again, like she had a strong background as well.
Yeah.
So it's not out of the realm, but at the same time, like we should not discount
No.
how rare this quality is. How rare this kind of talent is.
And on top of that, he's singing. Well, he's singing at a ballad tempo. You know, it's a borderline kind of ballad funk, minimalist kind of vibe. Same thing as
BB, yeah.
But you know, he's singing at a ballad tempo and performing nuances inside of normal ballads that are really hard. We've talked about it before, the nuances of ballads. So I'm really impressed.
Yeah. You know, I would absolutely love to see a collab between him and BB. Where I would see the way they would break. They would kind of have like that breakup of he would represent like the more softer, subtle side, where she would represent the more edgier, kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Because she's really good at establishing those. They're both good at establishing and atmosphere around them. And I think the two of them together would just make like this super hard duet.
Yeah, he's kind of like more innocence based, and BB's kind of like edgy 13.
Edgy with attitude. she's got that attitude. Don't mess with her. Yeah,
got that edge.
So with that, he definitely did not disappoint with Just.
No, it pulled me in
and
right away.
Which one did you guys listen to first, though?
I listened to Just first.
I listened to Here first.
Okay, so interesting, because I listened to Just first, and I think it really set a tone for Here.
Yes.
Really? Because, okay, because my this I'm the oddball out. I guess I'll start. I kind of just chilled for Here. It was one of those relaxing songs that I could listen to in the background. So when I first heard it, I was like, all right, I guess this is another just chill song, another chill artist, and you know, I wasn't exactly when leading up to Just. This wasn't a song that I was. This did not put expectations for me for Just, to be honest. So I just kind of was like, okay, this is just another song for me. It's not bad, but it's also not my kind of song. It's really chill. It's not a bad song. I won't ever skip it if it came on, but it's a good song.
Yeah. No. So now that you brought us to Here, pun not intended, but now I do intend it. So. Here, wow, Nick. Well, I wasn't really fully expecting this type of song either, because the way Here starts off with, I was expecting something more along. I was expecting like a soul type of instrumentation, right? Because it kind of starts off as soul, but it goes into ballad. And I don't know, like
but it doesn't lose some soul elements.
No, so I'm like,
so in the piano is full on soul.
Yeah, I like
the piano is like, I'm playing soul. I don't know what you're singing. I'm playing soul.
Fine. We'll just go together. Whatever. We'll make it work. So
like that, and I noticed that in the instrumentation, because I was like, these chords are kind of cool. These are ballad chords in the piano. You know, okay, and the piano just went full soul. What? I was like, I mean, I'm vibing, but like, it's kind of weird.
Which I really liked it. Because I mean, again, I like that family of music.
It was like that that like very early 2000s soul.
Early 2000s soul, and with even some throwback to like there's one song from the 70s, Lean on Me, Bill Withers.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's very like
Ooh,
that.
Right? Yeah. I didn't think of that.
That was the vibe that I was getting from the very beginning, right? With that soul opening, I'm like, you know, it already felt like it was starting to be uplifting. So
yeah, I will say that before he started singing, when I was listening to it, and I was just listening to piano, I did expect him to be in a much higher key.
Yeah.
I did not expect him to be down where he was. It's not a bad thing, but I was like, why are you down there? Like, you should be up here. You're down there.
Yeah. So. Go ahead. What you got?
I was just gonna say, this episode's kind of starting to get really long, and
I know. I've been watching. So.
All right.
I just want to say that mixed voice projection. Holy crap!
Now I gotta edit
wow.
that.
Oh, whatever, man. It's fine. Just leave it. But
yeah, and I mean, mixed voice is usually. It's kind of a weird place to sing in, because it's quite literally, it's in your throat. It's not still in your chest voice anymore. And on top of that, a mixed voice is it's called a man-made vocal range. Basically, you have to make it. You have to force yourself into the mixed voice.
And then to project it.
And yeah, so there's multiple layers to a mixed voice. Because you have to make the voice, then you have to mix it yourself.
and then maintain that
So
control.
you control how much head and chest is in your mixed voice, and then you have to project it forward
and maintain the control, like he did.
Yep, and maintain your control.
Like, wow.
And yet again, some people that are very good at mixed voices, mixed voice projection especially, is choirs.
Yeah.
So basically, you're just chalking Ji Jin Suk to, dude, you took choir, didn't you? You took choir.
So he took choir
Or he had a really good
has a lot
teacher.
of choir influence somewhere. But
But his vocal
the song
abilities
was
is amazing. Like, and especially for someone like me who is very focused on vocals, definitely someone that I'll be following. So strong. He's got probably out of this entire lineup, I would give him my strongest recommendation.
yeah, and his vocal range is nuts.
Absolutely.
Here's vocal range is just insane.
So going off of that,
Yep.
MV of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Alright, go.
Me. Alright.
We already know H&D unfamiliar, right?
No, it's Bandage Invisibles.
Which is not a bad pick either.
They had a legit debut. Legit.
Yep. Alright. Nick.
I'll go last.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, I'm gonna have to give it to Ji Jin Suk with here.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It was really hard because between Wonwi, H&D, and then Ji Jin Suk.
They've this has been the song wise. This has been a really good week.
Yes. So Nick, on to you.
Invisible's just here.
Oh, I hate you. I hate you.
There's no way I can choose. I literally tried, and I was like, I feel like I'm disrespecting one to say the other.
At least you could have made it into a sentence. Just here are Invisibles.
Yeah.
It could have at least made it into an actual sentence.
I think Invisibles is edging it out. Bandage, the way they maintain that tension is just really good.
And then obviously for me, because I'm vocally based, so Ji Jin Suk. Okay, so on to the quick shots. First up, MC&D are announcing their comeback for April 9th. Even though they just had their pre-debut in January, they had their debut, and then they just barely wrapped up their debut promotions, and they've already announced their comeback. Amazing. So, on to you, Aura.
Good news for Rev Loves and the K-pop community. Wendy is out of the hospital. She is probably still recovering. I don't know the full details yet, or we don't know the full details, but apparently there's been a statement that she's out of the hospital. So she's got to be doing better.
Yeah, she's receiving outpatient treatment.
Yeah, so
right now.
you know,
She's gonna have to take it slow.
yeah, she'll take it slow. Hopefully she's at 100% the next time we see her. You know, and yeah.
All
All right. Time to throw it to some sad news. Don't cry, guys.
Too late.
Shofar Music has announced Woo Ji-yoon. She has departed from the duo Ball 4.
Oh,
If you don't know Ball 4,
you're literally living under a
stop
rock.
watching this right now and go listen to
Or do it right after.
Anyway.
Do it right after finishing watching this.
Go, and when you listen to go on a marathon.
Right?
Listen to all.
Yeah, for real. So An Ji-young will continue promoting and maintaining the name,
Yep.
but it will be a soloist. Shofar Music and Woo Ji-yoon both made statements saying, like, obvious, the normal stuff when anybody leaves, sorry, continue to support,
Right.
stuff like that. But it seems like Woo Ji-yoon has plans to release music by herself in the future, so definitely be on the lookout for that.
Yes, as always, we support them in all of their future endeavors. So, okay, so taking it back to me, Daniel Kang takes his third win for his solo 2U. So congratulations on your big break. And this is his first release under his new label. So it looks like everything's working out for him.
Yeah.
So thank goodness.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So back to you.
Alright, so Mamamoo, Kim Hae-won, BOY, and April are doing a benefit concert to help basically raise funds to what was it, relief funds against COVID?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're doing a great thing. It should be on April 11th is the concert. So by the time this episode comes out, it'll probably already have happened the day before or the day of. So, yeah.
Something like that. Definitely watch
Yeah,
that.
and, you know, if you can donate, especially if you're in Korea, you know, help out. It'll help a lot of people. And just help the world fight against this outbreak.
Yep, we're all facing it together.
Yeah.
And just for you all to be who may be concerned from hearing that, it's live streamed. It's a concert without an audience, so they're still maintaining the social distancing.
There's no audience. That's actually with a lot of music shows as well. That have also going on. They're going without an audience. They're going with bare minimum staff to help prevent the spread of the virus. So yeah.
Yep.
They're doing it as safe as they possibly can while helping people.
Cool.
Oh, other good news. Forbes 30 under 30. Twice is actually on there.
Nice.
So yeah, that's other good news from my once self. Gotta throw that in.
All right. Well, I guess I'll wrap it up unless you guys have anything else to say.
Nothing, man. Take it away.
All right. Thank you for watching. This has been Idle Stand Nation. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Click that bell icon if you want to see more from us in the future and when we upload. Make sure you join our Discord where we actually interact with everyone and might be sharing some hints as to what we're reacting to or reviewing, I should say. We have a Twitter. Go follow us on Twitter. We post there pretty frequently. And yeah, we will see you guys next week.
Bye.